Steve Robbins here. Welcome to the Get It Done Guys quick and dirty tips to work less and do more. Listener Georgia writes in, how do you know when it's time to move on from your mentor? What if you find out that your mentor is human and not the deity that you've always placed on a marble pedestal? Excellent question. A mentor is simply someone who's been where you are and traveled that path or a similar path before. In corporations, a mentor is someone who knows the lay of the land, and they help you navigate the complexities of organizational life. Mentors even promise not to backstab you for their own gain, which can be a refreshing change. And hopefully, they can help you avoid political blunders. They know where all the skeletons are buried. And that's really convenient because skeletons are high in calcium, which promotes healthy teeth, and it's hard to find one that's not being used. But as much fun as your mentor may be on that drive out to the cemetery, the time may come when you two should part ways. Here are 7 ways to tell when that time has come. Tip 1 is to part ways if there's a conflict of interest. Although part of a good mentor relationship is the agreement not to backstab each other, the time may come when you find yourself at odds. Say you're an apprentice to the Dark Lord of Sith, and part of the career path is to rise up, destroy your mentor, and absorb his life force. That is a genuine conflict of interest. Conflicts can happen many ways. If you've moved into your mentor's chain of command, your mentor may feel compelled to put their needs as a manager ahead of your needs. If your mentor is a consultant to a client and you're on a committee overseeing that client's expenses, you really don't want to be the one who has to make your mentor justify every expense voucher, especially when several of them were for working lunches with you. And if you form a really close relationship with one of your mentor's business colleagues, and then the two of them have a falling out, let's just say things get messy. If you can trust your mentor, and no, you can never trust the Dark Lord of Sith, raise the issue. Explain your concerns to your mentor, and you might be able to come to an arrangement. Perhaps you can avoid certain topics when you meet together, or agree to part ways temporarily until the conflicted issue has passed. If you can no longer trust your mentor, or you never could, finding a conflict of interest is almost certainly a sign that your relationship is on its last legs. One good lightsaber swipe will take care of those legs in a jiffy. Tip number 2, move on if your mentor is reluctant. If your mentor was assigned to you in a corporate mentorship program and he, she, or it doesn't actually want to mentor you, it may be time to move on. If your company mentoring policy requires you to stay together, it's worth a try to build some kind of relationship. Ask your mentor, how can we both get the most out of this arrangement? You may agree to a relationship that isn't mentorship, but still benefits you both. For example, you could cover for each other when you duck out to interview for a job at a company that doesn't try to force inappropriate mentoring relationships. Tip number 3, fake it. If your mentor's a powerful, well-connected person in your company or industry and she thinks the relationship is going fine, you might want to consider faking it. Otherwise, she'll kill you and absorb your life force. That would be bad. Show up and get what you can out of the situation while fawning obsequiously over how amazing and incredible she is. This is called brown-nosing. Welcome to corporate America. Tip number 4, move on when needs change. Both you and your mentor are in the relationship because you're both getting something from it. You're getting guidance, advice, and an outside perspective. Mentors get something too. My mentor blew my mind when he came back from a meeting and said, I asked myself, what would Stever do in that meeting? And then I tried that. I'd never realized that mentors also learn from the relationship. I was flattered. True, he did get fired for his behavior in that meeting, but I was still flattered. There can come a time when the relationship is no longer meeting both your needs. That's a good time to part ways also. Tip number 5, check in about your relationship. Once a year or so, it's worth having a conversation and asking, how's this working for you? If you're no longer both getting your needs met, it's perfectly fine to go your separate ways. If things aren't working for you, the worst you can do is quietly stew about it. Then when you finally do separate, you run the risk of having hard feelings. It's far better to separate gracefully and with mutual respect. Tip number 6, keep multiple mentors. Keep in mind that there's no law against having more than one mentor. Having several perspectives on your situation can be valuable. Even just knowing there are multiple approaches can free up your thinking. Early in my career, my boss asked me to do something unethical. One of my mentors said, this is the reality of working in a corporation. Everyone does it. It's no big deal. My other mentor said, do the right thing, you'll sleep easier. Knowing there was a culture of support for both courses of action paradoxically helped me feel more comfortable following my own values. I did the right thing, and to this day, I sleep easier. Tip number 7, your mentor is human. Finally, remember that your mentor is only human. I'm the kind of person who puts people on pedestals too, and I get very upset when they fall off, especially if it's on me. But of course they'll fall off. They're only human. Know this going in and be selective about what you learn from them and what you don't. One of my mentors is an absolute role model for being a creative genius, but the way he manages his personal life is not for me. So we have a strong bond around creativity, and I look to others for models of having a strong personal life. Mentors are great. Find one, find several, collect the whole set. Fake it if you're in an artificially enforced mentor relationship. Use relationship check-ins to make sure things are going well, and when you're not getting your needs met, or when you have conflicts of interest, go your separate ways. And remember that your mentor is only human. But if you arrange for them to get bitten by a radioactive spider, they could develop superpowers. And wouldn't that be neat to have in a mentor? Follow Get It Done Guy on Twitter and Facebook. This is Steve Robbins. Email questions to getitdone@quickanddirtytips.com. I help successful people build exceptional lives, businesses, and careers. I provide a completely confidential, non-judgmental space where they can honestly explore options without judgment and with no outside agenda. If you want to know more, visit steverrobbins.com. Work less, do more, and have a great life.